Is every business book that you pick up a page turner? You know those books that you just keep reading and you stay up way past your bedtime? Of course not. In fact, some of them can be just a downright yawn fest. If done right, your book can actually pre-sell your reader on working with you. It can position you as the go-to expert in your industry, and it can open doors to speaking engagements and other opportunities, but only if it actually gets read. So in this video, I'm going to go through the neuroscience that can help you write a book that your reader can't put down. Before we dive in, just click the link below to download my free one-page book planner so you'll have what you need to begin the process of creating your own page-turning business book long after this video is over. So I like to describe a book that's a page turner as having musical flow. It's like a piece of music where the notes just flow right into the other, and there's a beautiful ease of reading that makes that book into a page turner where you just want to keep going, you just want to keep reading. And there's different places where you can apply certain techniques to help you have that musical flow inside your book. So let's start down at the sentence level. So when you are writing individual sentences, can you have musical flow in an individual sentence? Absolutely. Poets call it scanning or meter. What that means is that when you read a sentence, it makes sense and it flows. There's this beautiful lilting meter to it. Now, how do you do that when you're writing? Because you're just typing along and you're trying to get your ideas out. That's the first step, is to get the ideas out, create the sentences. But then what I would love you to do is just to read it out loud. Don't read it from the screen necessarily. It's better if you can read it from a printed piece of paper because we see things differently on paper. But if you read sentences out loud, you'll be able to find out where things trip you up. You'll be able to find places where the sentences are too long because you run out of breath. Or you'll be able to find out where sentences just don't quite fit together. The words don't like each other for some reason. And you can change words, right? You can change the order of words. You can change and use synonyms. You can use antonyms. You can add punctuation. All of those things at the sentence level help to add musical flow. Now, one of the things that makes music so addicting and so pleasing to us is because there's repetition. The repetition in a musical song is a verse and a chorus and a verse and a chorus, and there's a bridge that offers a little bit of a break, and then there's another verse and a chorus and maybe the verse again. So what that does is it provides repetition, and our brain likes that. Our brains will release chemicals like dopamine and serotonin and things that just bathe our happy spots. We're just like, yay, we love this, and we know what's coming next. We know at the end of this particular verse, we're gonna have a chorus that we know how to sing because we know the words, because we repeated it over and over again. People like to guess the answers. That's why mystery books are so popular and drama series are so popular, because they get to figure it out before the main character figures it out. All of that is releasing happy chemicals in our brain. So you can do that yourself in your book to help make it into a page turner. And I do that by something I call chapter flows. So not only at the sentence level are you making things flow in a nice musical fashion, but at the chapter level you're doing it as well. So inside of a chapter, you want to organize it like a song. You want to have certain blocks that are put into that chapter that are the same from chapter to chapter to chapter to chapter. I'm not saying you need to say the exact same thing every time. Sometimes you're going to throw in a little bit of a pleasant surprise, something interesting, maybe an image or maybe an exercise or something. But when you go through a book that is a page turner for you, pay attention to how the chapters are set up. Maybe there is a quote at the top, and then a story about the author, and then a teaching piece, and then some explanation of the teaching piece, and then maybe there's a case study, and then maybe there's some exercises. And so that's a flow for one chapter. But then the next chapter you go, oh my gosh, there's a quote, and then there's a story about the author, and then there's some teaching, and then there's explanation about the teaching, and then there's a case study, and then there's a preview for the next section. And the next chapter, oh my gosh, there's going to be a quote, there it is, and there's going to be a story, and there it is. And so we like it. It gives us dopamine. It gives us this feeling that I understand how this is going to work. I understand the rules of the game of this book, and that makes it easier for me to read it. So at the chapter level, if you can organize it in such a way that you have similar elements repeated chapter after chapter, not only does it make it easier for you to write, but it makes it really, really easy to read. So another thing that you can do to make your book have musical flow is to have cliffhangers. Like we all love cliffhangers, right? Well, okay, I hate them, especially in TV shows that I'm addicted to, and I just want to see the next thing. But what does that do when you're watching a TV show and there's a cliffhanger at the end of an episode or at the end of a season? What does that do to you? It makes you watch the next one. This is where binge watching was invented, right? And it's the same thing in a book. When you have a cliffhanger at the end of a chapter, it makes you turn to the next chapter. It makes you turn the page. You've got to keep going. When children's books are written, if you go and look at any children's book that's really popular or has been around for a really long time, look at what happens at the end of the right-hand page. There's probably something that's unfinished. It's like a little bit of an open loop where they're like, you got to keep turning the page in order to find out the end of the sentence or to find out what happened to the dog or whatever. So when you have a cliffhanger, it can be just something that's a chapter preview. So at the end of a lot of the books that I write, at the end of the chapters of the books that I write for people, we'll have something called a chapter preview for the next chapter. So I'll say like, you just learned this great step here. Don't forget, we got a next step coming up and this is what we're gonna learn in the next chapter. And you make it really exciting so that they wanna start reading the next chapter right away. You never want them to close the book and go, yeah, I'm done. That's enough of that. I'll get back to it next week. Because they probably won't. How many times have you stopped reading a book and you just never got back to it? So you can have that preview, or you can also have an open loop where you just tell a story and you don't resolve it, or you start a sentence and you don't resolve it. Maybe you just put half a sentence there and then you start the chapter with the rest of that sentence. It's kind of tricky. Finally, you want to make sure that you're keeping your paragraphs and your chapters short. And that by short, I could mean 5 pages, I could mean 10 pages, I could mean 1 page, I could mean a paragraph as one single chapter. It's up to you, it's up to your reader, it's up to what you're trying to teach. But when you keep the paragraphs and the chapters short, it makes the reading so fast and easy. People love to say that they've read books. They love to say, oh, I read that book, it was great. I read 2 books a week. I read these books all the time. I'm a reader. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel smart. It makes them feel like, I love reading books. I love reading books, but I don't like reading books that are just big blocks of text. When there's just page after page after page of heavy text, it slows everything down. It makes it difficult to read through it. Even if the sentences are easy to read, and even if the information is fascinating, if there's not a break or I don't feel like I'm making progress, it's frustrating and it slows everything down. So when you keep everything short and snappy and there's nice white space around the paragraphs, makes those pages turn so fast until they're at the end of it and they're like, oh, how do I find out more from this author? It also makes you look amazing as an author because you understand that these people are investing time and energy into reading your words, and you want to help them understand as quickly as possible. Don't belabor points. Don't tell stories that have no meaning or no relevance. All of those things just slow everything down and make people more likely to just close the book and put it on their shelf. Why do you want to write a page-turning book? Because people love to talk about them. They love talking about page turners. They review them online. They recommend them to their friends and colleagues. They buy them as gifts for their employees. So if you're ready to write an engaging book that will be read and loved by your audience, I really want to help you out. So click the link below and download some of my free resources today.